forever. No.
I know.
That's fine. That's fine. Okay, so I think we're live. We're live. We're live. Good evening, everyone. My name's Lisa Caltabiano. And so if you do not know me, I am an independent sales director and I live in little itty bitty Lothian, Maryland, little farming town south of Annapolis. And this other gorgeous chick that's on screen with me tonight is our guest tonight. I'm so excited for you all to meet her. So here's the deal, you guys. If you are a beauty consultant tonight and you invited a guest to join us, make sure you're texting her on the side to let her know that she wants to comment during tonight's event, because her comments, and by the way, guess your comments on YouTube tonight are going to get you into a drawing for one of our pink clay masks. We're going to give one of these away tonight. So I'm excited about that. So I am really excited to introduce you to our guest tonight. And this event tonight is called Women of Wisdom. So we started a training program with our consultants. I don't know, I think we're a little over halfway through. It's a 6-week program and it's called STP. STP, and it's a pace setters. And so each of our consultants who is part of this program obviously loves their business, wants to build their team. So tonight, this event is really designed so that we can give our customers a little more information, a little sneak peek into Mary Kay. And so if you're a customer tonight, or if you're a friend tonight, or you're just joined tonight because maybe you were bribed with a free product or a discount on something, we want to thank you for joining us tonight. But you know what? I always tell people, watch with an open mind, with an open heart, even though you might be here to help someone out, because you might hear something that might trigger some interest. And I think you're going to find that Rachel's story tonight is a little unconventional of how she was brought into Mary Kay, or she introduced herself into Mary Kay. And I didn't even know some of those details until I saw her a few weeks ago in Nashville at her national sales director's debut. So I see a couple people are on. So good evening. Hi, Hannah. Hi, Nancy. I see Julie's on. So Julie Crucial, actually, Rachel is another sales director who's part of this program with us. And she's going to be on the side keeping track of all of the customers' names. And then at some point, I'm probably look distracted, but I'm going to be putting their names on a wheel of names so we can draw for
So
our master
exciting.
winner later, which will be good. So, but anyway, I am excited to introduce you to Rachel. But again, I may remind you about this again. So you got to hang in with us till the end, because that's when I'm drawing the winner. And you know the drill. Must be present to win. Okay. So hang in there with us until the end, because I will announce our winner at the end. Somebody's going to get this in the mail tomorrow. So we'll mail it out to you tomorrow. So again, you might have been curious. You might have just heard a little bit about Rachel, because I've been telling everybody about you all week, Rachel. So you might have just heard a little bit about Rachel and going, all right, I got to get on there and hear a little more about this chick. Or like I said, you might be helping your consultant with a contest. I promise we're pretty good about our timing. We've been ending under 30 minutes. So we're going to make sure we stick to our time. And after Rachel shares her story, I'm going to actually, Rachel, if it's okay with you, I might actually ask you a couple organic questions based on information you shared with us, if that's okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, so let me tell you a little bit more about Rachel before she gets into her story. And I'm reading my notes. So it's so funny, because in any other universe, Rachel and I probably would never have crossed paths. Okay. Thank goodness,
Mhm.
number one, for the virtual world, because even in the Mary Kay world, I never would have met Rachel if it weren't for seeing each other on social media and kind of having mutual friends. But think about it. I'm old enough to have given birth to this girl. Okay. So true. It's true story. Okay. I mean, my oldest son's going to be 34 in August. So
Well, that Mary Kay has you not
oh,
looking
yeah,
a
thank
day
God for Mary Kay.
over 40, okay?
Yeah, she is definitely my new best friend. But, think about it. Where else would we be working together, be sister sales directors, sister beauty consultants, and I always say Mary Kay sisters. So, I am so honored to have you with us tonight. So, and like I said, Rachel's going to be sharing a little bit of her journey, but I want to tell you a little bit about her Mary Kay, like what makes her really special in our Mary Kay world. Okay. So that you know that she's just not another pretty face, young, hot mama. Okay. All right. So let me tell you a little bit about her. Rachel actually joined Mary Kay on May 12th, 2018. And for those of you who don't know, May 12th is Mary Kay's birthday. So right there, she stamped herself with some really like magic fairy dust, right? She promoted herself to a leadership position in Mary Kay as an independent sales director. So tonight I'm going to try to say some of our Mary Kay terminology and in terms that even our customers tonight will understand it as well. So independent sales director is a leadership position in the company, and she did that in just a little over a year later. So she debuted in September 2019. She completed all of the new sales director challenges, and you know where that landed her? Number one in the nation for her debuting class. Oh my gosh. And the picture, guys, that I shared on our Facebook page of Rachel, you didn't get to see it, but it was a picture that Jamie had of you walking off the stage. You had your red dress on as number one in your dean's list. So cool. So cool. And so, Rachel, how many women typically are in a debuting class of sales directors?
Oh my goodness. I think in mine there might have been like a little over 80, I want to say.
Okay.
I
So
believe.
that is pretty daggone cool. Out of 80 sales directors who debuted, she was number one. Okay. Number one. She has done twice the court of sharing, which means that in one calendar year, she introduced 24 women into this company and helped them to achieve success. She's also been 2 times court of sales achiever, and that means over $40,000 in retail sales in a year. But she is a leader in our company. And so she has what we call a Mary Kay, a unit. And she has led her unit to was the first one 300,000, but then she catapulted to 450,000 her second year. So she didn't play around, okay? Leaps and bounds in one calendar year. So that means that twice, and see that pretty necklace that's on her chest, okay? That is the triple star achiever necklace because that means that she's done all 3 courts 2 years. So she also in 1 year achieved the unit building bee challenge. And again, our guests are going, what the heck's that mean? I know. Where is that pretty bee? There it is. And we won't take time tonight to tell you the story of the bee. You see, Rachel has on bees. I have on bees. That is really important in Mary Kay. So you want to make sure that you ask your beauty consultant, what's up with the bees? Okay. She'll tell you the story behind them. But that means that she and her unit introduced over 50 women to the Mary Kay opportunity in 1 year. Rachel has earned the use of 3 Mary Kay cars since 2018, you guys. Okay. The most recent being the prestigious fluffy pink Cadillac, right? As a brand new sales director. Okay, sit down for this one. Rachel's highest commission check, including bonuses in 1 month, has been over $15,000. Okay. And it's not just about the money. And she's going to tell you about that in a minute. But Rachel not only has led her unit to 450,000 in 1 year, but she has also helped 2 other women in her unit become sales directors. And one of them, I believe, is also a pink Cadillac sales director, right, Rachel? Who is
Yes.
it? Kirsten or Cheyenne?
Kirsten, and she
Kirsten.
just picked it up in January. So excited.
So exciting. Oh my gosh. So definitely a legacy of success in the brand new Verge area with Jamie Taylor. Rachel's married to Chase. And I know this from her Instagram stories that just joined a wine club to meet new people. I was like loving that. I'm going, I want to go join me a wine club. I thought that was such a
It
great
was so
idea.
much fun. And he complained all the way there, but once we were done, he can't.
And then when he gets there, he's having a blast, right?
Yes, he loved it. He had so much fun.
Of course, of course. And I know they did a little bit of moving outside of the Atlanta area at one point. She'll tell us about that maybe. But Rachel and Chase live in Atlanta, Georgia. And so we have another Georgia girl. Last week's guest was also from Georgia. And they have a beautiful little 7-month-old daughter, Mila. She's 7 months old, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Mila. Oh my gosh. Mila Rose. I got that information right before we got on. So please join me in welcoming Rachel Ryan. So, Rachel, inquiring minds want to know how are you introduced to Mary Kay? So, tell us a little bit about your story.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And of course, in Mary Kay, we always are telling how we got into Mary Kay. And I will say it's definitely still one of my favorite stories because I am just so glad that I did find Mary Kay. And like Lisa had kind of said, I kind of was introduced to Mary Kay in a very different way. So basically, like Lisa said, Well, let me just start from the beginning. I know she told you so much about me, but I'm just going to kind of repeat some things. But yes, I'm 26 years old. I live in Atlanta, Georgia currently, of course, like she said, with my husband and my 7-month-old daughter, Mila, and my 85-pound golden doodle, who is like another toddler. Anybody on here, like literally their dog is like another child. He is so spoiled. But I actually did not live here when I joined Mary Kay. I was living in Indiana. I don't know if anybody here is from Indiana, but I lived in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Me and my husband got sent up there after I graduated from the University of Georgia in 2017. And we got engaged and I followed him up there. And I just knew, because me and Chase, we were best friends all through high school. We ended up started dating in college. And I just knew, if any of you guys are on here married, you just know when you know. So I just followed him up there, and I got the first job that I could get at a place called Sweetwater. I don't know if anybody on here has ever heard of that before. But
Mhm.
basically, I started working there, and I just really wasn't passionate about my job at all. So it was the first job I could get. I was working 60 to 70-hour work weeks. I was just really burnt out, just really trying to prove myself in the corporate world. And so it was just a lot of me waking up every single day, just not passionate about what I do. And I'm sure that there are people on here who have been there. It's so
Mhm.
relatable. And so every single day I was just waking up, doing the dang thing. My schedule was different every day. Me and Chase had like opposite schedules. It was just crazy. And I was, like I said, so burnt out, so done, so ready to find something I was passionate about, so ready to meet people. I mean, it was so hard for me to meet people when we moved up there. I worked at a place that was made of mostly men. And it's just a really weird time in my life. And so I actually followed this young, bouncy blonde on Instagram. Of all places, I followed her for like 3 years, you guys. It's so crazy. But I actually was introduced to Mary Kay on Instagram, and I went to Jamie. And I'm going to tell you about that in a second. But basically, what happened was about 3 years before I messaged this cute little blonde chick, I was just scrolling on Instagram and I had just bought myself a brand new Bible. Okay. Bought myself a brand new Bible. It was so cute. It was, at the time when Bible journaling got super in. So it was one of those Bibles that had like the, on the side where you could like take notes or you could draw or whatever. So, anyways, I thought it was the cutest thing ever. And I was in college and I was just sitting on my bed one day and I was like, I want to see what other people are doing with their Bible journaling, whatever. And so I searched the hashtag Bible journaling, and I saw this girl who had the same exact Bible as me. And I was like, she's got good taste. Let me click on her page. So cute. Had a pink car, was like loaded in diamonds, was just hanging out with all of these girlfriends, traveling to London of all places, just like all of these things. And I just was like, wow, that girl loves her life. Follow. Okay. So I just followed her, never messaged her or anything. Just always saw what she was doing. And I was like, wow, that girl really loves her life. I really want that. But I never did anything about it. But then 3 years later, I was crying in my office closet. It was a closet they turned into my office for me. Anyways, that's another story for another day. But I was crying in my closet and I was just like, wow, I just really wish that I did something like that. That girl has so much fun. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to message her. I'm done crying about this. And I'm just going to find out what she does for a living. So I messaged her and I said, hey, you do not know me from Adam. This is so weird. I never do this. This is so out of character of me. But can you just tell me a little bit more about what you do? And she still tells me to this day that it's so funny that she saw my message, because in the Mary Kay world, if you don't know, she's kind of famous. And so a lot of people message her on the daily. So she even says to this day, like, it's crazy that she saw my message basically immediately. And she messaged me back. She was like, yes, like, I'd love to tell you more. And we hopped on the phone. And back then it was $100 to get started. Now it's only 30. I'm so jealous of you guys. But back then it was $100 to get started, which, fun fact, was about 10 hours of work for me, because I was getting paid $10.35 an hour, which was not covering my student loan debt, as you can imagine. But it was the starting position for me, and I just needed a job. So I I paid for this $100 starter kit, did not tell my husband, and was like, I'll figure it out when I get home. I'll just tell him. I'll just tell him when I get home. So I bought the starter kit, and he was kind of like, what are you doing? But he knows me, and it's fine. We're obviously very happy, and he loves Mary Kay now, but but I
I
always
bet he does.
yes, yes. And I always tell people, if you're watching this and you're considering the opportunity, or maybe you already sell Mary Kay and your husband just, or your boyfriend or whoever is just maybe not as on board. I always say men do not get this. Okay. Until there's a free car in your driveway or you're making, those paychecks are hitting your account. They just don't get it. So just roll with the punches, okay? Just believe me, still try. If you in your heart are like, I like this, I want to keep going, I want to try it out. It's only $30 to see what it's like. Just do it, okay? You can't lose. So anyways, he loves Mary Kay now. But but I joined that day, and about, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks later, that bubbly, bouncy blonde that I literally knew online for about 3 years, had never met her in my life, talked to her once on the phone and a couple times through text. She drove 6 hours to meet me from Nashville, Tennessee to Fort Wayne, Indiana, and have my first party for me. And this was back before, this was before COVID, of course. So like we only did the in-person stuff, no virtual back then. And so she drove 6 hours to meet me, a complete stranger, and stay in my guest room. I thought, wow, this woman either one really loves what she does or makes a lot of money or both. Like, I was like, wow, she's coming to me. Okay, whatever. So she came and I sold $600 at that party. I made $300 in a couple hours, which was more than I made biweekly at my job, without overtime, which I was working a lot of overtime at the time. But anyways, so I was like, okay, $300 in an hour. I just sat here, drank wine with my friends, and sold a lot of product that I actually like to use. This is really, really cool. Like, okay, I can keep doing this. And I, of course, that weekend too, just became really, really good friends with Jamie. And to this day, she's one of my best friends. And it's so awesome to see what she's all accomplished. So the first thing I want to say too, while I'm on the subject of Jamie, is tomorrow, if you're still kind of on the fence about this thing after I talk about it and all of that, because I have so much more to say, but if you're still on the fence about it, tomorrow night, Jamie is actually the company, Mary Kay, the company has actually asked Jamie to do one of these as well. And so she'll be doing that tomorrow. So you could get on and listen in and meet her tomorrow. So I'm sure Lisa will tell you guys more about that at the end, but wanted to just slide that in really quickly. But of course, I was still selling Mary Kay, but mainly to just my friends and family in that first year of my business. I just had promised myself to be consistent, to learn, to be open to, just figuring out my place in the company. Now, of course, I always had those dreams of like, wow, like a free car, that would be really cool. Like, I would love to be a leader in this company. And most of all, I would love to quit my job. Like that was my big why, you could say, is like, I just really knew that I wanted to work for myself one day. And so I just worked in the nooks and crannies of my life that first year. So maybe you're watching this and you are one of those people who feel like you just don't have very much time on your hands. That was me. Like I said, I was sometimes working 50, 60, 70-hour work weeks, and I didn't really have that much time. But the cool thing was I was sliding it into the nooks and crannies of my life, allowing myself to have to grow in the company, to learn, and to sell when I could. And I was bringing home an extra $200 to $300 extra a month. I mean, I would dare to ask you guys, what could you do with an extra $200 to $300 a month? For me, I was getting my nails done. I was, me and Chase were going on dates. I mean, we had just graduated college. He just started his job. We didn't have much at all. So I was never, looking to do those things. So that allowed me to have the peace in my heart to spend the money to get my nails done or to buy a new pair of shoes or to treat myself. And it gave us time together to have dates, all of that stuff. And it was such a blessing at that point in my life, but I knew I wanted more. So at the end of March in 2019, me and my husband got the call that they were going to finally transfer us back to Atlanta. And it was such a blessing and from God, because we were supposed to be in Indiana for 6 years, but to be honest, we were miserable. We didn't want to be there. We wanted to be back home with our families. We knew we wanted to have kids one day, and we didn't want to be in Indiana for 6 years. And I definitely didn't want to be in my job for 6 years. So anyways, we got the call, and I told my husband, I said, please, I know you don't know much about this. I've been to seminar, which if you don't know what that is, it's basically like a huge event that Mary Kay Corporate puts on for us in July. So I had been to seminar. I had seen women, like hundreds of women, hundreds, cross the stage and collect diamonds, and cross the stage and because they drove free cars with the company, or they made a certain amount, or they sold millions of dollars in a year. Like, I saw that and I knew in my heart, like, if that one woman can do this, I can do this. If that woman could do that, I could do that. And so I asked my husband, I said, will you please let me try to make this work? I do not want to move to Atlanta, a big city, okay, go up multiple elevators to get denied for jobs, or get a job that I maybe don't like, just like this one. Like, I just always knew I wanted to work for myself. I just never knew that it would come in the perfect form of Mary Kay. Okay. So he was like, okay, I'll give you 2 months. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if you can bring home some money. And I already knew the drill. Like, okay, well, I know what I got to do. I got to start working. And so I really just hit the ground running. Now, I am originally from a little town with 2 stoplights. Me and Chase both grew up there, and it's an hour and a half south of Atlanta. So what I did every single day was I woke up super early when Chase did, and I would drive down to Griffin, which is where I was from. I would drive to Griffin every single day to facial people that I knew. Because for me, that was just where I was more comfortable at the time. And so every single day I drove an hour and a half back and forth. I would come home really late. I remember I was trying not to spend a lot of money still at the time because I wasn't making any money. I had a literal, you guys, I had a thing of oatmeal in my front seat, and I would eat dry oatmeal on the way home. Like, I don't know why, but it's but like, that was always in my car, and I didn't want to spend money, and it was like slightly healthy. So I was just like eating dry oatmeal all the time. So weird. I know, you'll get used to it. I'm a crazy person. But yeah, it was just a really weird time in my life. Well, I hit the ground running. I started working that. And then in April is when we moved. At the end of April, so 2 weeks into doing this, I got in a really bad car accident on the way to and from, or in between appointments, and I totaled my car. And my car was brand new. It was my graduation present. Well, me and my dad had split it as my graduation present, and I just was devastated. I was devastated. Now, I'll tell you, the car and Mary Kay really never motivated me that much. But once that happened, I was like, okay, well, I got to earn a free car with this company. That's a thing. And it's so crazy because 2 days beforehand, me and my husband were talking like, would you take the car? Because fun fact, you can take cash compensation. If you love your car or don't need a car, you can take a very, very, very wonderful cash compensation instead of the car. And I was like, I don't know, because I just love that it's like a trophy on wheels. It says Mary Kay on the side. Like, I would want the car, but I don't need it. Like, I don't know what I would do. 2 days later, bam, car accident, wrecked my car, standing out on the interstate with my false lashes flying off and in my beauty coat. I just was a disaster. And I just sat there and I was like, all right, well, there's 2 thoughts that crossed my mind. One is, everybody okay? And then my next question, of course, to myself was like, okay, Rachel, are you going to earn a free car or what? And so we took the insurance money, and I was like, I'm earning the car. I'm not getting the new car. I'm going to make this work. So from April to September, so from April to January, actually, because I earned my first car in September. In January, from then to January, I drove about 12 cars, rentals, my parents' cars, my in-laws' cars. My husband ended up wrecking his truck. It was interesting. Okay. But I had made a promise to myself that I would earn that car. And so I debuted as a sales director in June and earned my first free car in September. And since then, like Lisa has said, I've earned 3 free cars with the company. And I've also earned 2 beautiful women who truly are just, I mean, you heard Lisa say at one of my offsprings, she's also in a pink Cadillac. And you guys, like, I could just go on and on and on and on about the reasons why I love this company, but they truly just spoiled the heck out of us. They really do. And I thought that I knew what I knew. Like, when I started doing this, I thought I knew all about the company. but every single day I just learned something more. When I had my first child in July, one of my favorite things that the company has ever done for me, yes, the cars are amazing, the diamonds are amazing, the recognition is incredible, the friendships are amazing. I mean, I was in my friend Chelsea, I was in her wedding in August, and I would have never met her if it wasn't for Mary Kay. The friendships are incredible. I mean, truly, I could go on and on and on. But one thing that Mary Kay did for me, Mary Kay corporate, you guys, they sent me a massive peace lily plant right at the day after my I got home from the hospital with my daughter, and said, congratulations on the birth of your baby girl, Mila, like by name, love Mary Kay corporate, and the president of Mary Kay. And I was like, my corporate company that I worked at would have never done that for me. And there are way more women in Mary Kay than there were in that company. And I could go on and on and on about what this company has done for me. But I know that Lisa has so many questions. So I would love Lisa for you to ask me a question. But I'll go on and on.
You know what's really great though, Rachel? You covered some of the questions that people were asking me to ask you. And one of them, you just talked about how amazing our company is. Like one of the questions that one of the other sales directors was actually asking was, what have you subsequently learned about our company since you joined this Mary Kay world that made you want to stay? And that's one example of the plant that they sent you. But I have to say, Rachel, you like made a mark on the Mary Kay world. So I think that it's, it's amazing that corporate is obviously recognizing that. And I love that they did that with you. And, so let me ask you, let me go back to when you said that you were kind of following Jamie on social media. So it's so funny to me that you said you like reached out and said, well, what do you do? So that in itself says a lot about Jamie. And it says a lot about the opportunity that we hope that we don't shove Mary Kay down people's faces, because probably if you saw that it was Mary Kay, Mary Kay, Mary Kay all over her social media, splashed all over social media page, you may not have been as attracted, right?
Well, it's funny because I did know she sold Mary Kay, but I had no idea what she did, how she made it work. And it's so funny too, because I remember in college, right after I followed Jamie, that I was actually scrolling on Instagram, and me and my dad were headed down to Florida for something. And I said, I would never ever do anything like that, but if I did, it would be Mary Kay to be with this person. And I showed him a picture, I can still remember that. But I was one of those people. I was like, I would never do that. And so I'm sure that there's some people watching that have said the same thing, like I would never do that. But Absolutely. As soon as she told me all about the company and I watched her and I saw it, I actually saw these things happening to and for her. And I could genuinely see the excitement. I could genuinely see she loves it. And so that's really what drew me to it.
Yeah. And you also really spoke to all of those women out there who either are going to watch this live tonight or watch the replay later, who really are, hopefully there's not a lot of women in closet spaces at corporations crying, but do you know that they are really not, it's not what it's all cracked up to be sometimes. And I'm not discounting, for a lot of women it is. It's what they were called to do. But I know there's a lot of women out there that have your story. Okay, looks Julie. Julie, did you oh yeah. So Julie said, I love Rachel's comment. Slide it into the nooks and crannies of your life. What a great way to think about this amazing opportunity. That is so true. And I can remember one of our national sales directors emeriti, Kathy Halou, sharing that we kind of put it all in a blender. And it's not like we put it in boxes. And you're a perfect example of that. Jamie's a perfect example of that. And I just feel so honored that I got to meet you. And, originally through Jamie, and we're on a Cadillac Huddle together. So it's, I think, probably the first time I actually kind of saw your name. And, I knew it was like going through that Cadillac Huddle, like, who do I want to ask to be a guest speaker for us? So I love that you said yes. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. We are getting to the end of our time. And what I'm going to do, actually, Rachel, is I know that there's probably going to be some follow-up questions, and there's going to be people who are going to watch the replay. So if I could, I got your Voxer now, girl. So I might just be voxing you with some other questions. And I so appreciate you taking time on a Wednesday night, not only away from your own business and your own unit and all of that to be with us for tonight, because I know you're prepared for it, but even your family. So thank you so much. I think I saw it before we went live. I saw Chase walk through the room, but I don't know. Is Mila already down for the night?
Yes, I
Yeah.
sent him upstairs. I said,
Yeah.
please, just we
Yeah.
I was like, you gotta go, because he'll sit
Hey,
here and listen to me.
babies
We're
are
like,
great.
you
Babies
can't do
are
that.
great. Yeah, I joined Mary Kay when my oldest was 10 months old, so I get it. And you're telling the story about the car crash. I can distinctly remember being on the side of the road with yeah,
Yeah.
in a red jacket with
Yes,
one baby on one arm and another one in the car seat. Like,
that's
oh my gosh, I do not want to call my father to come rescue me.
it's
So
yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
I
if
hear
you've
you.
ever been in a car accident, you know it's like slightly traumatizing because
Yes.
it happens so fast and so slow.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yes, I would definitely say, and just to like finish my story basically, is I am just so thankful for this
Hmm.
company. And to any of you guys who maybe aren't in Mary Kay, like I am so thankful that I found Mary Kay. And if you're watching this and maybe you do have like butterflies and you're like, I kind of think that I want to do that. Like, I don't know, what's this feeling? That was the feeling that I had when Jamie told it to me. And when I reached out to her, I wasn't expecting to join right away. I was actually expecting to build a friendship and then figure it out later. But as soon as she talked to me, I just knew it was right for me. And I think that to this day, it's so crazy because that happens for me too. I've had women find me on Instagram, and I have women all over the country who have found me in that way. And I do believe that it's just a testimony to the fact that I found Jamie that way. And I'm just so glad that happened. So even if you're looking just for community or something like that, that's really all I was looking for, was a friend to, figure out what they were doing with their
Hmm.
life.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just worked out so beautifully. So
Yeah. Definitely, definitely. And isn't it awesome that we are working? Some people are working in person, all in person, and but a lot of us are still virtual, and a lot of us are doing hybrids. So I love that you have customers and clients and friends all over the country who've been following you and all of that. And it's just a different way of doing things. So I know that Rachel touched on it, and when I joined Mary Kay, it was $90. So it only went up really $10 really in all those years, and then it decreased down to 30. So go figure, right? So just so for those of you who are watching and you're a little bit curious, or if you feel like you need to be layered a little bit more, as Rachel mentioned, tomorrow night is actually a company sponsored event, and it's called It Just Fits, and it's actually going to feature Jamie Taylor, who recruited Rachel. You heard her mentioned several times tonight. And Jamie is actually currently the youngest active national sales director in the entire company. I know this week is her 30th birthday. Has it actually happened yet?
it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay. I'll have to reach out and tell her happy birthday. So tomorrow is Jamie's 30th birthday. She literally just celebrated 10 years in Mary Kay. So if you want to hear a little bit about Jamie's story, and there it will be another speaker on there as well. And again, that's only 30 minutes. Hop on tomorrow night, but you do have to pre-register. So if you're like, hey, I want to know about that, just message your beauty consultant who invited you for tonight. We only have until midnight tonight to register you for the event tomorrow. We can register you. All we need to know is obviously your name, your I believe your phone number, your email, and your zip code. I think those are the three things that they ask for. So at least I think that's what my assistant told me when she registered my guests today. So with that, you can get started if you're like, hey, sign me up. This sounds good. You can actually get into Mary Kay for $30 right now. And what that gets you is a website for an entire year, so customers can shop online with you. It also gives you ability to process credit cards for an entire year. Those two things alone cost a seasoned consultant $70. Just saying, okay? Or if you're going, you know what, I'd like to have something I can hold in my hands, you can take a $130 option, which will give you both of those things I just told you, plus a kit that we call starter kit that's filled with over $400 in retail size products with samples and everything else. And there's a special going on right now too with a sample packet that ends at the end of February. So you want to ask your consultant about that. So with that, thank you, Rachel. If you can hang on just a minute so you can cheer with us while we pick our winner. So let me see if I do this right. Let me see if I'm going to share my screen and get over to our wheel. Okay. I don't know. Can you guys see the wheel? Is it? No, it's not showing yet.
Hit
Hold on.
hit
Oh,
share at the bottom, and I think you can share your
I
screen.
know I did that. Oh, there it is. Okay, hold on. There we go. Okay. Now we can see the wheel, right? You guys seeing the wheel? Okay.
Not yet. Oh,
Julie,
now we
Julie, take a quick gander. Did I miss anybody? We've got Hannah, Caitlin, Anna, Claudia, Nancy, Stacy, Sarah, Kelly, Denise, Pam, Hazel, Ashley, and Becky. Those are all of our guests tonight. I'm going to see if nope, Julie didn't tell me that there's anybody else. Is there anybody else, Julie? I can't. I see now I can't see your comments. All right. She's not messaging me, so I'm going to assume that that's it. All right. Let's see who's going to win a free pink clay mask. And it is Caitlin. Yay. All right. Congratulations, Caitlin. And Caitlin's actually my guest, so I'm pretty excited. So congratulations, Caitlin. Oh my gosh. And I'm going to send her out a pampering packet tomorrow. Caitlin, I purposely did not send that out today because I had a feeling you might win. So anyway, Rachel, thank you again so much. It's 8:34. We did great on time. So thank you, Rachel. I will be in touch with you, sweetheart. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Have a fabulous year. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.